Big Mom's house. Big Mama's house. Welcome to Big Mama's house. Big Mama's house. Yeah. Big Mama's house. Welcome to Big Mama's house. Big Mama's house. Yeah.
Welcome back to Big Mama's house, y'all. Mama and Lizard are here today to talk to you about Sister Wives season 18, episode 7.
Oh, it was honestly everything was just stretched out when it didn't need to be. This is basically just a very much filler episode, I think. Nothing really happened hugely. And
Well, you'd think so, but there were a lot of little nuggets of information buried in the episode. So if you weren't paying attention, you missed it. It was very subtle.
Basically, it was just the sister wives, and Cody was only brought in as the solo camera,
A little talking head thing.
bringing an opinion in, even though he wasn't involved in any of this.
Yeah, but everything is about Cody, don't you know?
Generally, it is because it's all his fault, basically.
Yeah, sort of true.
Because again, he allowed. Again, we're gonna continue on with the episode. We'll talk this later.
Okay, and if any of you watched Welcome to Plathville, or you're not used to watching us or listening to us, what we do is we go through the episode as the episode is, as it pertains to how it is aired. So they do a lot of jumping back and forth, and so that's how we just follow along as the show did to kind of give you a really clear synopsis of how the episode went.
Basically, if you don't have time to watch the episode, just listen to us. We'll tell you exactly what happened, beginning to end.
Exactly.
And if you're just listening in just to, feel like you want to validate your feelings about how awful Cody is and Robin and everyone,
welcome.
Yeah. Just close your eyes and, just enjoy.
Yes. So the episode opens with Janelle meeting Christine at that same restaurant that they've all been going to lately.
Christine met Cody at, and Cody met Janelle at. Now Christine and Janelle are meeting at.
Yeah, it's is it the only place open during COVID, or the cheapest place for production to run out that little meeting room that or all seated at?
I'm thinking it was the only place big enough for them to have a private area with the camera crew that's still open during COVID.
Yeah, maybe, because it's odd that it's the same place over and over.
It's really like Mexican. We don't know. They could all just
really
like it.
That's totally possible. And at this point, it's mid-February, because they said it was about a month after the last time whenever he met with Janelle, and that was 6 weeks after Christmas. So that puts us mid-February.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep everybody up to date with the timeline because it is very odd. And this would have been mid-February last year. So that's where they're at. And at the same time, Mary and Robin are meeting at Mary's house to have another chat.
Basically what Mary was talking about the last episode of the only one who'd care if she left was Robin. So she has to go tell Robin.
Exactly. So Janelle says that you always run in circles with Cody when she's chatting with Christine. And I think that's really funny because it's true. It's like this circular thing. Well, this is what I think happened, Cody. Well, this is what you made me do this. That's how it happened. And she's like, but this is how that happened. He's like, no, but this is what you did to make it happen. And it never ends, and the circle continues forever.
Him blaming the other person for all the issues.
Exactly. And Mary and Robin are chatting, and they said it's been a long time since they chatted. And again, so I'm assuming the last time they talked was when they filmed a month ago.
Right.
So
when Robin was outside in the cold because Mary didn't want her in her house.
Which I think is hilarious because there's no reason really for no one to be in Mary's house. And then she tells Robin about moving the clothing business to Utah and then downsizing in Arizona. Maybe because she doesn't need a big house for her business. Because everybody's like, oh, why does Mary have such a big house now? She's all alone. Because she has a business that she runs out of her home.
Oh, I bet you that's why she didn't want Robin in her house, because she was probably in the process of starting to move it to Utah.
Ooh, packing.
And then Robin would be like, "Hey, what's going on?" And Mary wasn't ready to tell anyone that she's leaving.
That's an interesting theory. That's very, very interesting. This is why it is so bad to do one of these kind of commentaries on these shows alone, because you're only seeing things from one side. I always get a different opinion when I'm doing
Because if you
these with
notice,
someone else.
when Mary was ready to tell Robin about, she let her in her house, and it was probably even colder at that point.
Right.
So the only reason why she would make her go outside for one and inside for the other is because she didn't want her to know at that time. Because then she would run off and tell Cody.
Interesting. That nice. Good job. I like that. And then Robin said she is, quote, feels unsteady, even with Cody. And so it's like she needs Mary around to, like, be the one constant that because they've always been had that with each other. And I'm like, okay, so you feel unsteady with the rest of your life and even with Cody because, all this craziness is going on. But the one person that Cody doesn't want in his life, you are holding on to as your, like, security blanket.
Right? So she basically, she knows that Mary's the only person that, would take a lot to leave Cody.
Yes.
And she knows, and anytime she feels she's pulling away, she just be like, "Oh, I'm so thankful to have
Just
you
hang in
here."
there, hang in there. I'm working on it. I'm working on him. Just hang in there with me a little bit longer. He's been
And she
saying that for 5
even
years.
says that later in the episode too.
Okay, and then we're back with Janelle and Christine. And
Again, a lot
Janelle,
of back and forth.
yes, that's how this damn show works. All the TLC shows work like that.
From
And
back.
then saying about how she went and saw a therapist about, what her feelings about, separating from Cody and everything that happened. And she went back to Nancy, who was the family therapist for years when they lived in Las Vegas. And in my opinion, no offense, Nancy sucks. They went to her as a group, as couples, as individuals for years. And look at how fucked up they all still are. None of them communicate. All of them have the same exact issues as before. The only one that's happy is Christine, and that's because she got the fuck out. But could the marriages and relationships have been saved had they had an effective, appropriate, proper therapist? That's entirely possible.
I honestly believe that the therapist was hired by TLC. She is hired by TLC, and she's not actually supposed to, keep them,
Well, because they're allowed to film it, I'm sure TLC paid for it. That may have been the, like, only therapist that was willing to, like, do
Or is it like-
polygamist group therapy and, be willing to film it. Or the cheapest, again, maybe just the cheapest one, and you get what you pay for.
You can't tell me that TLC wouldn't have offered a little bit more in her salary for her great work if she would, said some things to some of the cast members.
Well, yeah, because if she fixed their problems, they're not interesting
Right?
anymore.
Because they only got this therapist in Las Vegas after the show started.
Just saying, these are only speculations in our opinion.
Allegedly.
Yeah, all of this is what we think. And then Janelle straight up says to Christine she doesn't want to be married anymore. Ooh. And then it's with Coyote, or sorry, it's Cody and his little talking head talking about how they're at Coyote Pass to ride the mini bikes that they got for Christmas. But here's the thing. They didn't show anybody's faces.
I don't think any of them rode those bikes.
I don't know who those people were, but
those were not. I was noticed that, like, are they filming someone else doing this?
and Dayton wasn't seen at all, and hasn't for. I mean, maybe he's one of those older kids that's been like, no, I'm out. I don't want to be involved in filming.
He's like, I shut my door. You can't come in.
Yeah, like, I'm done. I don't want nothing to do with the show. But it's really strange that they didn't show anybody's faces, and it was just voiceovers with the girls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's something very, very, because they haven't been filmed. Brianna hasn't at all in a very long time either. And the only one that got filmed was that whole weird ear piercing episode with Aurora.
Yeah.
And that was the first time she's been seen in on the show in
And
a
now
long
it's
time.
time for the two youngest kids to be seen.
Yeah, and it all is very, very strange. And none of them are ever together. And like it's all just like either little kids or
The older kids.
Aurora by herself. It's weird. It's just weird, you guys. And then we're back to Mary and Robin, and Mary says that the B&B is just easier for her. I imagine it would be. There's no family drama. She can just be herself. She can focus on her business
She's
and
with
her
her
friendship.
bestie.
Yeah, she's with her best friend. Why wouldn't it be easier? And it also is a place that reminds her of her mom.
Right?
You know, what's like her ancestral family
And she
home.
never wanted to move to Flagstaff anyway. She would have preferred to be in Utah.
I think kind of, yeah, I think so, because whenever Christine was having her um meltdown there, it was a couple seasons ago, and it was during like the whole COVID thing, and they were meeting at Coyote Pass outside 6 feet apart in their little lawn chairs, and Christine was begging to go back to Utah now that polygamy was a misdemeanor.
Decriminalized.
Yeah, basically decriminalized. And she wanted to go back to Utah. She wanted to go home. The only reason they left was because of the law. The law's not an issue now. Let's go home. And everybody was like, I think Mary would have been like okay with it. She's pretty,
If she saw Cody was okay with it, she would have been totally on board.
yeah. But she was just like, whatever Cody wants is what I want, because I just want to be back in the family again. And Janelle was like, nope, never going back. I hated Utah. No, thank you. And of course, Robin was like, my kid's going to college here, and I'm not leaving until they're all grown and away from here.
Which was the whole reason for them moving, because Robin needed to be there.
Yeah, and she didn't say that, y'all. I'm paraphrasing, and kind of like reading between the lines, that kind of thing. That's basically what happened. So it's been a whole thing. Anyway, back to this episode. Um, and Mary was very worried and told Robin that she's worried about what the move will be perceived as uh, her leaving too. It's by the public, by Cody, by the rest of the family. She's like, I just don't want to deal with that because that's not what I'm doing.
Because if she's perceived that way, they bother her, basically.
Well, yeah, because this rumors and the accusations and the everybody talking behind her back and the whisper is like, that's not like, things are just kind of getting back to where she's like accepted kind of by everybody, or tolerated, whatever, by most of them. And like, so she doesn't want to rock the boat at all,
Right.
and I don't blame her. And then Robin says she wants her to be happy, but she doesn't want her to leave. And that's an oxymoron, dude.
And she even says later that she feels selfish. I'm like, you are selfish. You're holding on to this woman who's unhappy being around the dude that has you like,
Who on the daily rejects her outwardly, and has made it cool for everyone to ostracize her.
and for his family, they spend thousands of dollars on it. Lives in a big house over there.
And he's got to like control his sexual tension with the good wife. It's just gross.
It's very gross.
So then we're back with Janelle and Christine at the restaurant, and Janelle says that marriage is a covenant and doesn't want to go against God, but she doesn't want to be married anymore.
And technically, she even says this, they're not actually legally married,
but
it's spiritually and their religion they are
and
married.
that matters. That's the whole point of the marriage, of the last 30 years together. And so I think she's thinking, like, we can just live apart. A lot of older polygamous couples do that. They just stay married, and they don't, they interact on the holidays and big family events, and that's it.
And like, technically, like, they aren't married though at that point, right?
I mean, it's all about the religious and the
okay,
like.
just the spirit.
With her, she really does believe in the faith in the church, and they would have to go to the church and petition to be divorced, and they'd have to give all. And like she said, according to their religion, there's been no abuse, there's been no neglect, and all these things. Like, there's no like legit, according to the religion reason,
Because they don't care if
to
you're.
be divorced, so it would not be
By the way,
approved.
being in love or actually liking each other does not.
Yeah, that's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement at all. You can just be spiritually married but live like in another country.
Yeah. So, and then we're back with Mary and Robin, and Mary tells her that she has got to communicate with her, call, text, or whatever, when she moves about like things that are going on with the kids, that they're planning events, that they need her to be there, anything like that, because there has not been much communication from Robin to Mary in the last couple of years, y'all. So basically, the entire time of COVID, Mary said, I was very lonely. Like, no, everybody was doing their own thing, and nobody like communicated with me unless it was about filming. And she didn't say that, but we're again reading between the lines because there were no family events because no one could get together.
I honestly believe though that Mary is doing this on purpose. She knows Rob won't keep in contact with her, which means that they'll say, "Why aren't you here?" Like, "Oh, no one told me in time, so I'm just gonna stay in Utah. It's okay."
You can't tell me 2 days before and expect me just to show up. But you don't have kids, Mary, and you work from home, so can't you just pick up and leave and do exactly what we want?
No,
whenever you want it?
It's their business.
Exactly. And y'all, it's they just expect things. Like they're very what's the word? Entitled when it comes to Mary doing what they want because she has for the longest time been like, "Oh, you need me right now? I'm right over there." Because she's been desperate to get back in everyone's good graces.
Or just even be a part of their lives in some
Yes,
way.
she just wants to be included. And at this point, Cody wants to know, and Janelle don't want Cody. Mary wants Cody, and he don't want Mary. He wants Christine, and Christine don't want Cody. It's like he wants what he can't have. And
Right.
has and because Mary, he knows Mary is like after like desperate to be back with him, she loves him and it's shown it like by sticking around and putting up this abuse, and he just could not care one fuck less
Right.
at all.
He even says this. He could not care less later when she tells him.
Yeah. And they all say that Cody used to be, quote, dynamic, bold, outgoing, and he has changed. And every one of them agree that he's like angry and bitter and negative. And Mary said it just makes her sad. And the negative change in him in the last 3 or 4 years because it started before COVID, and that was his excuse and his reasoning to just blow it all up. But he was angry and bitter and resentful and just had all these issues before COVID.
I would be interested if someone would like start watching this episode and actually take note of like at what point exactly he just started changing.
Well, I have started back watching the entire show from the beginning and doing all my notes, and I have started keeping a Robin cry count. Not just a Robin, all of them. When any of them cry, I'm keeping
Robin's
track.
winning, by the way, by a large margin.
But trying to get Papa caught up on Plathville and getting all those out and everything has kind of put that on the back burner the last month or so. But as soon as that is all caught up, hopefully in the next week or so, I'm gonna be back starting rewatching again, and I am keeping again these detailed notes to figure out exactly what the hell has happened, how it all changed, where it went wrong, and all that good stuff. So hopefully I'll have answers for that soon. But then Robin said Cody's gonna do what Cody's gonna do. And that's true because she's like, I've tried pushing him towards Mary and encouraging towards Mary. And but nobody else is trying in the relationships except Robin and Mary, and he don't give a fuck about Mary.
The thing is though, is that this is just the past few years it's been like that. Before, like
all they did was try. Anything Cody wanted, bam. There it was.
It just blows my mind that she's like putting the blame on Christine and Janelle when again it's Cody and Robin doing this.
Next up will either piss you off or make you laugh.
And
it kind of makes me do both that little kind of, oh God, I'm gonna kill you, bitch laugh.
She, is this her being like, not a victim?
Yes, Robin says she doesn't believe in being a victim and she doesn't see herself that way. And she believes you pick yourself up and you deal with your problems.
She literally said, I don't think I'm pathetic. Or no, a victim.
And we all know what Robin's self-pity syndrome is. We've talked about it in many episodes before this.
And how Cody got infected.
And now she has totally indoctrinated and infiltrated Cody and her children with this disease. So everything is poor me, everybody's out to get me, and everybody's mean to
And
me.
of course, Robin can just pick yourself up and continue because Cody is right there backing her up all the time.
And all the wives are financing it. So,
Like,
hey,
you
why
have
not?
support.
And then, okay, I about died here whenever Cody said, I just, just realized that friendship isn't enough in a marriage. And I'm like, you fucking moron. Yes, for 30 years, Janelle put up with that what did he call it, that intellectual intimacy or the intellectual bond that they had because they were such good friends they could talk about business and shit. Yeah, women need more than that, moron.
Like, okay, there are some women who, like, are asexual and they don't need that, and they'd be probably perfect in this marriage. But none of them are. They all want to get with Cody. They all want more of his time and can be together.
Yeah, and they're just tired of being neglected, ignored, and having blatant favoritism.
And that fire that they had for him is, like, especially for Christine, is completely gone.
Yeah, like,
she has nothing for him anymore because he burned it all out.
exactly. And it's like, and then Robin said that they, meaning Christine and Janelle, need to stop talking about me, and they because they aren't dealing with their own issues.
You are the issue.
They are dealing with the issue. They're getting the fuck out.
Right? It's you and Cody. Like, you are the root of the problem, so I'm gonna leave you here.
Right? It's like, oh, gaslighting.
The other thing, honestly though, other thing Janelle hasn't left yet is because she, again, like, she really believes in that spiritual marriage.
Yes, she does. 100%.
This is one of those people that, like, their religion is everything.
Yes.
And they will follow it. She truly believes this.
Yes.
So I don't think any ridicule should come to her. Like, she honestly has something she believes in.
Yes.
Christine, though, is just like, I'm done. Bye.
No, and she was a believer. Christine was born and raised in a very, well, high ranking, however you call it, high ranking in that community's polygamous high, like their hierarchy, they're one of their high families.
Religion.
And so she was born and raised, and the rest of them weren't introduced to it until they were late. Well, I think Robin was probably the youngest at like 9 or 10 or 11. And the rest of them are like 18, 19, 20.
Right.
When they are into it. So it's like, Christine was the only one that didn't really have a choice. All the rest of them chose polygamy. They made a conscious choice to switch to
polygamy,
the fundamentalist Mormon faith, and you become polygamous.
And this is her finally, I think, making the choice.
Yes, like, hey, I see both sides now. I understand why my mom left my dad and left the faith, because like Cody completely killed that for her. Like, she's like, it's not even like,
and that's so sad. He killed like a lifetime of belief in her.
Yes, 100%. Because like even Janelle, like she still has the faith, and you can tell it because she said that if she did leave Cody, she would want to do the divorce correctly because she would want to go into another polygamous family.
Yeah.
And so she really does still believe in the faith. And poor Christine she got that rude awakening, and she was just like, you know what? This is not okay.
And that's why I think she's like openly encouraging Janelle, because Christine didn't have that, pull there still.
Yes. And Christine said that she ruined Cody's past. What his perception of the family that he had was gone. And that's exactly kind of true, because he thought that he had this great family and he was this perfect husband and father.
And he just was able to keep them all under his control and everything.
And everything was doing great. And in reality, Everybody was miserable most of the time. And again, if you guys don't know, go back, listen to my series about their book. It will blow you away. They were all miserable all the time.
And they just
And
put on a smile for
for the kids. They toughed it out and did what they had to do for their kids because they believed in the faith all of them at the time. And so they just did what they had to do because that's what you did,
right.
you know? And then Mary, we're back with Mary and Robin, she says that complaints against each other is normal in a family. I completely agree. I mean, there is some days whenever you and I are at each other's throats, and I'm complaining to Papa or to Mallow, or like you're at Dad's throat, or Dad and Mallow are at each other's
What
throats.
happens is that whichever two isn't involved in the argument is the ones that have to, like,
Listen to the other ones. And you know what? That's what happens when you have that many people, especially like we live in the same house, so like
They had
space is very
dozens.
limited and you get on each other's nerves sometimes. And but it's true. You have complaints in a family, and if you never deal with that, that's on you. You know?
Like, I don't understand, like,
I'm
what,
very big. I've always said, if you don't tell me what's going on, if you can't tell me what I did wrong, I can't. If I don't know it's broke, I can't fix it.
and the only one Robin was communicating to was Cody.
Exactly. Um, and then Cody says that Christine was not a good fit for polygamy. And at this point in her life, she's like, hell yeah, you're right. I am not. I am never going back to polygamy. But at the time, Christine was the best one at polygamy. She took care of everybody's kids. She still worked part time. She, was always the happy face and kept everybody, from sinking into like solid depression. And even when she was going through a hard time, she still focused on the family. But yeah, when she got a little bit older and the kids were a little bit older, and yeah, she wanted a little bit more of her husband's attention. Not maybe not. She wouldn't have needed more of his time if more of his attention was on her solely during their time together.
And it never was.
Never.
And it has been since the very first episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And even in the book, just it's for constant. And then Christine and Janelle say they're both happy and they will always be sister wives.
Aw.
And that's part of the thing that drove Cody nuts is he's like, why couldn't you have been as good as sister wives when you were actually sister wives?
Because now they don't have to compete for Cody's attention.
Exactly, which was the point I made, gosh, how many episodes ago? I guess when she first left, because of course they can be like friends now. There's no competition. There's no comparisons. There's no, oh, well, you got more than me or, whatever. Because they can just be friends now.
They're separate.
Exactly. And I think.
But that's.
I think they've always been friendly, but that competition of Cody's time and attention and whatever is what kept them from being like friends. Besties. Yeah.
And honestly, though, like, that's super cute that Christine, we know that her face is basically shot.
Yes.
But she told Janelle that she always think of her as a sister wife.
Yes. Not that you're my best friend, not that we're pals, but still willing to use that term. You're absolutely right.
Because she knows that Janelle fully believes in the faith.
Yes. Good point. See, again, I love chatting with you. This is why, and we don't talk about the show before we do this because we don't want to.
We might make some comments if we have to wait till the next day to do it.
Yeah, but we try not to talk about it all because we want to save all of our interaction for you guys. But then Robin said she wouldn't blame Mary for walking away.
But she would.
Blame her, I think, no. Desperate and sad, yes. Because I do think that they kind of have a friendship because I think Mary might be the only actual female friendship or any friendship that Robin has in her entire life.
Oh yeah, she has like no outside friends.
Nothing. I don't think she has much.
And if she had to deal with Cody all day, I feel like they would end up not being together.
I think the only thing that saves their marriage is the fact that he travels for work doing those traveling gun show things that he does with his business partner. So that he travels again a lot for work, so he's not there all the time, which I think is the only thing, again, saving their marriage right now. And then Mary and Robin, again, say that they're the ones that work for it, but they're the only ones willing to have the hard conversations. I kind of believe that because they're both more. Mary's more like me and more kind of blunt,
Yeah.
straightforward. Robin is more of the, oh, well, if you want to talk, I'm here, but here's my truth, and this is just how it is. But she's not as blunt and like,
Yeah.
kind of like
she's more sneaky to the side.
but always tells you the truth, like, talks about how things are. But Mary or Janelle and Christine are more like, we all know Janelle's not a great communicator about feelings. That's just who she is. That's how, something she's got to work on. Christine doesn't want to talk about feelings because,
She's always hiding her feelings about how she believes.
yeah, and if she does, then, Cody says she's needy and, not being a good sister wife and blah, 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 blah. Well, she just learned not to talk about her feelings that much. And then here's Janelle learned, she's just a smart woman, let's be real. She learned from the Christmas fight, the fight right before Christmas with Cody, that they watch these episodes and they see what you say in the little talking head, whatever interview things, or what they say to each other when you're not, because their camera's been there for so long, they kind of forget that they're there.
Right.
And then, so she got smart. And whenever Christine asked Janelle, so are you done? Are you getting divorced? Like, do you love him? Or like, what's going on? Janelle said, um, we'll see what, hang on, what did I say? I can't remember what I said. She said she knows everyone, meaning Cody, we'll see what's taped, and I'm saying this, and they probably have a whole different conversation after filming because she was just like, oh, we'll see, I don't really know, and she just kind of smiled, and you just know that after the filming was over, a whole different conversation occurred.
Right, Christine and Janelle were absolutely candid with each other.
Yeah,
I want to see that. I want to be flying more for that one.
Right, because Christine's trying to get these like little answers, like, you notice how they always waited until the waitress was out of the room before they had like real talk.
Yeah.
And like you just know that when she was asking her about her real feelings and what her intentions were and plans and everything, Janelle was just like, oh, I don't know, I haven't figured it out, and she just kind of gave her a little smile, and I was like, she figured out if you say that shit on camera about feelings and whatever, it will come back to bite her in the ass. And
it's happened before.
Yes, because she figured, and she was like, nope. So she got so much smarter, and now she's learning to be a little bit more,
less honest.
Yeah, just a little bit more
coy.
Yeah, all that. So that's my opinion.
Good job to know.
That's my opinion because you could tell, and she even said in a little like interview thing that like you just have to be careful. You just never know, like, if you might change your mind later. You don't want to, say things you might regret. Kind of, yeah. So, that's just my opinion.
I agree.
And then Mary wants Robin with her when she tells Cody about moving the business.
And that's because just in case that Cody starts, accusing things, Robin's there and he'll believe Robin.
Right. And Robin's like, well, maybe, this will be the thing he needs to, get, wake him up and whatever. And Mary goes, there's no question. He's done with me, Robin. And I'm just like, thank you. Thank you, Mary. Just be honest. Be real. They're just, yeah.
Right, so Robin was like, less, again, like,
And she wasn't shocked. She was just like, well, yeah, you're right.
She knows, but she's like, she still doesn't want to let her go.
She keeps hoping for some miracle.
That's never going to happen.
Yeah. And Cody said that he and Mary finally are at a place where they get along, but there's no reconciliation happening. And so it's like,
and he says
he and Mary are the only ones that like are honest and real and on the same page, like where they stand. Honestly, you know what I mean?
Imagine when Mary would sees that him saying that and just being like, okay, we're done.
I mean, he said it so many times and over the last few seasons, so it's not,
I
again,
really wish Mary
it's
would
not.
have been the first to leave.
I do too. I mean, she deserves it. I mean, she's been through so much.
It would have been so good for just to leave Cody.
Been like, bye, bitches. Enjoy each other. And Janelle, okay, we're back to Janelle. And she said she feels, quote, like a weight was lifted off whenever Cody, like, they had the fight and they were done and whatever. And after a while, she was just like driving around and she realized that she felt
Free.
like relief. And so, at that point, okay, this relationship is not
No, it's never
not
happened.
what, yeah, it's done. It's, yeah.
Or you need a very long time away from each other.
Instead, even if they do get divorced or whatever, or if they separate and are never together again, she has no interest in dating right now. I think she is more of an asexual person, and because of the religion, she knew that they had to procreate, and so she did that because that's what's part of the package.
Interesting.
But I don't think she has any interest, really, maybe in.
But wasn't it like a couple of
Because
episodes
she's
before?
not a lovey, kissy, huggy, snuggly, lovey, like a touchy person.
But she like the only thing she only likes him for his body. So they're obviously were having sex outside, procreation.
Yeah, but he also thinks that that could all be in his head too.
Could it be like something more like aromantic? Which means they don't really find much romantic feelings,
Maybe. I mean, there are so many of those things out there that I don't know. So, I mean, it could be any other number of things. And it could be that she's this hot, horny romantic behind closed doors and she just don't talk about it. Who knows? You know what I mean? It's like, until you don't know what's going on in somebody else's bedroom, and it's none of our business. So that's why I don't even speculate there. But you could be right.
Right.
Again, that's why I enjoy having someone of a different generation.
And gender.
So, that too. To like help me with those things, because I don't understand all that. Or it exists. I didn't know there was an aromantic thing. You teach us something new every day. Thank you, Lizard.
And Mama's very great at, figuring things out as she goes along.
I try. And then Mary said that she gives them the space and respect to figure out their relationship issues themselves. And I think that's good, which means that she doesn't get involved. Not that Christina or Janelle would ever
Robin would get
would ever like confide in her anyway.
Yeah.
And I would love to know what broke all that relation. I know that the catfish thing was hard on everybody, but I mean, there's never been a reason of why they decided to hate each other all of a sudden after Las Vegas.
I honestly think it was a buildup of the resentment with having to move to Flagstaff and Cody always choosing.
I'm talking about with Mary.
But again, like with the catfishing thing and all the stress of that would just only further to alienate them apart. And with
Maybe.
Mary, it would have been easier to.
But I would love to have a sit down with one of them and be like, "Hey, man, what really happened? Like, tell me what broke it finally? What happened?"
No, but you pointed out in the book they were miserable at that point. And so I think when Mary got in trouble for the catfishing thing,
I know what it was.
She was just an outlet.
It was the empty nest thing, because whenever Leon went to college, then Mariah,
Yeah,
she had an empty nest and had nothing to do. But she was very lonely, and the others were still very, very busy with their younger children and things. And
Cody wasn't ever around. Not that her kids were gone.
This was after the catfishing thing, and so like she was just completely just ostracized, and it started then. Of like she's just left out because she's not involved in like the day-to-day kid activities.
Yeah.
And instead of yeah. So I think anyway, we're almost done with this episode, guys. We're at the end
If you have
here.
any speculations, put them down in the comments.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that's happened over the years, and it's been a long time, so I have to rewatch it all again. But if you know, let me know. And at the end, Robin is angry to be living monogamy. She never wanted it. She feels tricked, and she's depressed, and doesn't feel in control of her life because everyone else is making these decisions that affect her. And
Of course, it has to go all around her, and she's the one who's truly sad about everything.
yeah, she's the only one, and she's the most hurt and the most sad.
And she's the one who puts in the most effort keeping the family
The
together.
only one that tries. Poor Robin. Okay, guys, that was Sister Wives Season 18, Episode 7. Those are our thoughts and opinions. We would love to hear what you all think. If you guys like us, please give us a share, a like, a subscribe, because it's free.
It make Mama very happy.
You can give us a quick comment or a thought or whatever.
Papa gets very happy to see that we now have 38 subscribers.
Yes, and if you are one of those, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. It means a lot to know that, people out there, they enjoy what we're doing, because this does take us a lot of time. So if you like it, if you enjoyed it at all, please give us a quick subscribe or like the, episode or
Or
whatever.
even tell someone about us.
Yeah, give us a quick share and tell your friends that we're awesome. Or, share us on your social media. Just get us out there to help us grow a little bit. Until next time, guys, though, be safe, use your turn signals, wear your seatbelts,
Mow your lawn.
and please be kind.
Or I guess rake your lawn, I guess.
At this point, yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.